So it's best to do it assisted, either in a class or one-on-one.
Really?
That's how we are meant to be using breath work. It's meant to be bringing up like a lot of things from the depth of your body. But the best thing is that in Tantra, we do a lot of breathing through the mouth. So you know how if you meditate, you breathe through your nose because it stills you and it like calms you down. Well, here we talk about working with energy. So we want to do the opposite. So breathing with the mouth. But here's the thing. When I guide my clients through some breath practices and I say, breathe through the mouth, and they go like this, right? I'm like, no, that's not it. It's this.
To be loud. With everything, inhale, outside.
Yes, exactly. You're going to get like hyperventilated, high on oxygen, also high on energy. And you'll be kind of getting dizzy, right? And this may not feel good. And when you're feeling this, you can slow down. If you need to like ground yourself by placing your hands on the floor, but keep going, because if you can break through that discomfort, this is when the magic happens. But it's something you have to do for a long time. Like, to be fair, a proper breathwork practice lasts about 40 minutes minimum.
40 minutes every day.
Well, no, not every day. You do not do this every day. Look,
okay.
this is like intense. Think of it like, when you do a body scrub, you don't do it every day. You do it maybe like once a week or even maybe less than that. So breathwork is intense. We don't want to be frying our system with these like really powerful experiences, right? So whether it's like ayahuasca or breathwork or whatever that's really intense, like give your body time to integrate everything and gradually work the strength to handle it. So I think people have a tendency of jumping a bit too much into these things.
Okay, so breath work. All right, what else?
Yeah, that's very, so this is very, very good. Another thing you can do is simply closing your eyes and just bringing your awareness inside. So when I talk to you, I see you, right? I can hear you. Like all of my senses are engaged. Can you do the same when you close your eyes, right? So if I close my eyes, I actually hear way more, right? You can do this with me if you want.
Let's do it. It's fun. All right, let's close our eyes.
So close your eyes and first notice what you can hear. And of course you can hear my voice, but notice if there are any sounds you can hear now that you didn't hear consciously when we were talking.
From you mean?
In general, in the whole room.
In the whole room.
Like I, for example, didn't actually notice the AC as much as I am now.
Yeah, true. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah. So then notice if you can smell anything. And maybe you won't. For me, for example, my smell is not very developed and we don't really have things that smell here.
Thank God.
But no, even, I don't know if you're wearing perfume, but like I cannot smell this, right? But then you go one by one with all of them senses.
I see.
And so you slow down and you just try to notice. And it's like, over time, you build your sensitivity to everything. And you're like, oh, wow. It's a bit like, I don't know if you've ever been on any like either low carb or ketogenic diet.
Yeah, I have.
And so, for example, when you do this diet and then you have a carrot, it's like you can actually taste the sweetness of carrot, right? But if we just have sugar every day, then the carrot is not satisfying. So that's a little bit like this, right? We try to kind of limit so when I have my eyes open and I interact with you, I am overstimulated, right? All of my senses, they're just like, geez, this is a lot. It's the same thing when you look at the sun or right at the light and your eyes just kind of close because it's too much, right? So the reason why we are all tense, especially when we live in a big city, it's because we're bombarded and we literally try to shut down all of our senses because we cannot handle all of that stimulation. But if you close your eyes, go into the quiet place, right, where you're not stimulated like this, that's where you can start building sensitivity to consider carrots sweet again.
Good example of a fruit. Assuming the topic. Okay, interesting. But so it seems like your teachings and your philosophy, when it has to do a lot with spirituality and energy. What about some practical advice? Because we know, and I'm sure you are aware of this, not everyone has this open-mindedness to believe in energy and like take some shark CEO who's like just numbers, money, all this thing, and you are telling him, hey, breathe, and he'll tell you, get lost, yeah? So do you have any practical advice on how to satisfy my wife? She's coming from work in a few moments. I need to give her the orgasm of her life. What should I do? I know every woman is different. That's assuming that.
Yeah, absolutely.
What would be the baseline?
So first of all,
And by the way, I'm not married, so girls, you can still text me.
But remember, he wants to have sex only once a week.
True. I disqualify. No, I can do quickies, but if they don't last more than 30 seconds, that's or 1 minute anyway.
So with women, let me start first with one thing.
Yeah.
So I always tell men that oral sex is not foreplay. For a woman, it's already sex. So the foreplay that a woman needs starts way before that. And it has to do with just how we function. So for you as a man, and you can tell me if it's true or not, but let's say you're focused on work and that's all where your focus goes. Now suddenly sex becomes a thing and you can totally just switch to sex. It's not exactly how it works for women. If you want me to think of sex at 6 p.m., I have to be thinking about sex from minimum 3 p.m., right? It has to be already in me. So women arousal, like, okay, I give this metaphor of imagine you have a pot of water and you want to boil it, right? If I put cold water on the stove and then I turn on the fire, I have to wait quite a long time for that water to get warmer, hot, and finally start boiling, right? So that's where women are. We're totally cold, and then we get home, and you expect me to boil within like 2 minutes, right? Or you think that by going down on her, you're gonna get her warm and ready to, orgasm. It's not going to happen. So we want to keep women warm or slightly simmering throughout the day.
I see you coming. So I have to text her at 3 p.m. like, I want to fuck you so hard, right?
But to be fair, if a guy needs to put an alarm clock in his phone to remember, then freaking do this.
Okay.
Seriously.
No, I meant texting her, like
but absolutely.
Her.
And again, this goes back to what we said before about distance in time, building anticipation. So I personally like it. Sending like nudes or like kind of dirty messages. So imagine like she's at work and you send her a message and maybe like you send a photo of handcuffs and you're like, I have something for you tonight. Now you planted the idea. Then let's say half an hour before she leaves work, message her, I'm waiting for you at home, right? Something. And you just keep it going. You keep this water simmering so that then when she's home, she can actually, So that is like essential. That is the most important thing of everything a man can do. Now, the second thing is, once you're kind of together, for a woman, what you need to do is you go from the outside towards the inside. So you do not start with her breast or her genitals. You start with the body outside and then you make your way in.
What do you mean outside?
So you start with the hands, the hair, the face, the feet, and only once you've touched everything, you can start going towards the genitals. It's the opposite for men. Like, yeah, you're gonna like enjoy the full body touch, but just go straight for what you gotta go, right?
True.
Now, it has again to do with the fact that our skin, female skin, is not as thick as yours because we have less testosterone. Right. So if I like touch you, like this will be like, what are you doing? But for me, it'll be like, because I am more sensitive. In fact, all of female senses are more open than male senses. So women are naturally more sensual. We can feel more. So that is very important. And I would say before you touch her genitals, give it like 15 minutes for sure.
15 minutes?
Yes, 1-5. I mean, I would say best even if you can go longer, but try at least 15 minutes. And to all the men listening, I challenge you to actually like have a clock somewhere. I kid you not, because very often men are like, oh my God, we're like having sex for an hour. And then you look at it, there's like 20 minutes max. So sometimes you may feel like you're taking a long time and it's been just 5 minutes, right? Okay. So that's the second thing. Make sure you start with the outside of the body and then you go inwards. Now, another thing that really helps is to engage all 5 love languages. So you're probably familiar with this, right? So you want to be telling her nice things. Remember that women very often, we feel like we're too fat, our breasts are too small. We don't like our, I'm not sure if I can say pussy.
No, you can.
But we don't like our pussies.
No, we already screwed up the episodes. It's already blocked. So.
Here's how to get blocked on all social media.
We might as well just have fun.
Let's go all the way. But women don't like them. There is actually a very popular plastic surgery in the US, in LA, especially when you cut the inner lips.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Right? Because like women think that this
It's
is like
ugly, yeah.
and so it's really it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. So most women have a lot of insecurities about how they look. So if you can tell her something, like tell her how much you love her body and how sexy she is, and especially if she has like bigger butt or thighs, so like I love your thighs, I love your thick thighs. Look at her pussy and say, Aka, I love her. She's so beautiful. She smells so great. She tastes so great. Like give her this kind of confirmation that you are attracted to her physically. You'll see that the more she feels confident, she will open up, right? So engage all of these love languages, but especially like tell her those things. It really opens her up, and it just kind of invites her to be a bit more, courageous and explore more in sex. So these are honestly the things that are very important. And the last thing I will say is that women often experience physical pain during penetration, and we don't say anything. We're kind of used to that. It's just kind of how it is.